Your profile says that you use they, them pronouns. It's the beginning of a question that I was sent for Ask a Witch. It continues, so I am making an assumption that you are non-binary. If I am wrong about that assumption, please forgive me and ignore the question. How do you reconcile being non-binary with the very gender essentialist worship of the Morrigan that is common in modern witchcraft and neo-Paganism? So I'm going to, as usual, remind everyone that Ask a Witch specifically answers something from the perspective of the Sanctum instructor who is being asked the question. So if a question is sent in for Ian, he will answer it from his perspective, and so on and so forth. I actually did just bring on a new instructor, so I'm really excited about that. It's not just us anymore, yay! Anyway, okay, to continue. Yes, I am non-binary. You are not making an assumption. I think I've been pretty open and upfront about being a member of the LGBTQIA community. Being openly queer is how I refer to it generally in a lot of our videos, but if you did not come across that, totally fine. I openly identify as non-binary. Additionally, I use either they, them, or she, her pronouns. I don't really care. There are days that I feel more masc, but it's pretty rare. So I am somewhere in the non-binary gender fluid spectrum. I prefer gender queer, but a lot of the time when I say that to someone, they don't actually know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I identify as genderqueer. So openly identifying as non-binary or gender fluid or genderqueer, whichever term is fine by me. I don't mind any of them. They're all accurate to a certain extent. Has caused me problems in every community I belong to. Whether that's the activist community, the queer community, faced a fair amount of issues within it, and the witchcraft community, and the pagan community. When I was one of the board members for Pagan Pride, it caused issues. When I worked with various other witchcraft-related nonprofits for years, it caused issues. Because the community is extremely gender essentialist. Now, you specifically asked for reconciliation of being non-binary with the gender essentialist worship of the Morrigan. I don't worship the Morrigan. I don't worship any deity. I don't worship the gods. There are a few select gods that I work with. I'm aware of all the controversy of that terminology, working with versus worshiping, but I don't worship any of the gods, including the Morrigan. I do not incorporate any of the standard gender essentialist neo-pagan ideologies around various goddesses, whether that's Hecate or the Morrigan, into my personal practice. Now, I'm very used to the assumption that because I'm a witch and I publicly teach for a witchcraft seminary, that I must ascribe to certain gender essentialist ideas, and I just don't. And I don't think I ever will. I find them reductive and harmful. I do not believe that any witch's power comes from a specific organ in their body, whether that is their phallus, or their testes, or their uterus, or their ovaries. I do not believe that being in a specific phase of my life in any way dictates how my magic operates. I do not believe that my ability to menstruate is what gives me my power, nor do I believe that the potential to carry a fetus in my body is the source of my power. I have entire rants about not liking the vagina-powered witchcraft, even though I teach both herbalism and witchcraft for sexuality and sensuality as courses. I taught both herbalism and witchcraft for sexuality and sensuality for BDSM education organizations, other sex education organizations, and as part of our ongoing course on comprehensive and inclusive sex education. And still did not say that the ability to use your sex-related organs in witchcraft and magic means that your magic inherently comes from which set you have. Partially because it isn't a set, it's a spectrum. There is a spectrum of sex-related organs. There's a spectrum of genital formation, and there's a spectrum of sexual identities and gender identities. So I don't incorporate any of that into it. If I were to worship a deity that was so closely aligned with gender essentialist neo-pagan beliefs in the neo-pagan and witchcraft community, I imagine that that would make it hard to worship that deity if I identified as I do as a genderqueer person. You have my sympathies. I don't have to argue that my worship of my deity is equally as valid as theirs, even though I don't have gender essentialism incorporated into it, because I just don't worship any deity. But my advice to you is going to be that only you have to live with your craft. Do what works for you. Don't allow anyone, including me, to define how you interact with your faith. It's your spiritual and magical path. You're the only one who has to walk it. So walk it in a way that you can live with. All right. As always, let me know if any of you have more questions on this topic or on any other topic. I have a whole slew of Ask a Witch videos to get through. So remember to either drop your questions in the comments below or send them to us at staff@sanctumofthecraft.org or drop them to us at Patreon or on our Discord. We are easy to find. We're on TikTok, we're on Lemonade, we're kind of everywhere, except we have entirely left behind anything run by Meta. So you cannot find us on Facebook or Instagram, or I think the accounts are still up there, but we are in the process of trying to back up all the posts on them and then delete them. So those will not be active anymore. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment in order to boost our reach and our engagement through the algorithms. We appreciate you interacting with our videos so that they can reach more people. Be safe out there, everyone.